Breaking news, we need to look at Boeing Airlines right now. The aerospace giant is trading at an all-time high. This price you see, that's an all-time high. It's now up 1/3%. Boeing inking a this is interesting. On this news, has to do with Iran. They have inked a $16.6 billion deal with Iran Air to deliver commercial jetliners, 80 commercial jetliners to Iran over the next 10 years. This deal actually marks the first major agreement between a U.S. company and the Islamic Republic since sanctions were lifted on the nation in January. You know, Airbus is not an American company. They've had a deal, but Boeing now striking that deal, $16 billion worth. President-elect Donald Trump's attack on another aerospace giant, this time a defense giant, overshadowing a day of celebration 1,500 miles away from Iran, and that's happening in Israel. Folks, this just happened within the past hour. The much-hyped arrival of Israel's first two F-35 fighter jets made by Lockheed Martin. It had been delayed a little bit due to weather, but it finally happened, and the president-elect's tweet slamming the program kind of overshadowed the big event that had Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, there, and Ash Carter, our secretary of defense. Here's what he wrote. The F-35 program and cost is out of control. Billions can be and will be saved on military and other purchases after the inauguration, January 20th. Well, the tweet just swamped shares of Lockheed Martin, which plunged. And as you can see, the stock has not yet recovered right now, along with other defense names. But you've got Lockheed down nearly 3% at the moment. It is the fifth company finding itself overall in the line of Trump's Twitter fire. Let me bring in Robert Wolf. He's founder and CEO of 32 Advisors. He's a Wall Street veteran, a Fox Business contributor. But perhaps more importantly, on a day like this, he sat on the president's export council with the CEO of Lockheed Martin. Robert, you understand and know the F-35 program implicitly.
Yeah.
Cost overruns galore. Donald Trump says, I'm on the side of the taxpayer. You say what?
Well, first of all, the CEO, Marillyn Hewson of Lockheed, is one of the best in the country. And with respect to the F-35 program, listen, I have no problem that President-elect is going to challenge defense contracts. I think there's a different way to go about it than Twitter, but I'll leave that to him and his staff. But the F-35 program has had cost reductions since the reset in 2009, 2010, at over 60%. They've delivered over 200 planes. I would tell you that the sequestration doesn't help defense spending because you really can't plan for the future. You don't get the greatest purchasing power. So I think once that ends, Lockheed actually will be able to continue to cut costs and develop, you know, the F-35, which is critical to our defense systems.
Don't you think it's interesting, though, because perhaps this foreshadows an attack on the cost overruns of the defense industry, while at the same time the president-elect has said, I'll spend more on our military. Which part is he going to spend more on? Because he certainly doesn't have the taste for an $85 million jet that is plagued with, again, these cost overruns. And I don't know many taxpayers who would be upset with Donald Trump for sticking up for the taxpayer on this.
Listen, I'm not going to challenge that. The president should make sure we get the best deal and our taxpayers aren't funding anything. And Donald Trump is a deal maker. But I actually think with respect to the F-35s, costs are down by 60%. They think they can continue to get costs even lower post-sequestration. So I would just say that, one, there's a different approach. You should call Marillyn Hewson, who's a great CEO. She's in Israel today. We're delivering, you know, the first fighter pilots to a foreign country.
Yeah, I think we have video of that.
Yeah, and so, listen, I think there's a different approach. But he made it clear to all CEOs that when you have a federal contract, we're going to make sure you dot the I's and cross the T's. And I think, like I said, if we can rid the sequester program so these companies can be ready for the future, then I actually think costs will continue to go lower because of their purchasing power.
Okay, let me move to China, because Donald Trump has also taken aim at China in a Fox News Sunday interview with Chris Wallace. I'm just going to paraphrase here for time purposes here. He said, I don't know why we have to be bound by the China One policy series unless we make a deal with China having to do with other things, including trade. You know, he has said over and over, why are they not helping us with North Korea? Why are we then bowing down to them? What do you foresee for U.S.-Sino relations?
Well, listen, there's currently a one China approach. That's our protocol. Certainly, President-elect Trump will have his own decisions how he wants to work with China, North Korea, and Taiwan. My recommendation is wait till he gets in office. Wait till he has the vision that he wants to take on. Obviously, with him, it includes, how he views the currency, how he views trade. So there has to be a different approach for President-elect Trump that he's going to utilize with respect to China. Listen, my view is there's a different approach for him to shoot these arrows, but obviously he uses his Twitter as part of his communication vehicle. And I've said before on Fox, I'm hopeful that he uses a bully pulpit on January 20th, and I hope it's not Twitter.
Well, you and I use Twitter a lot, but we follow each other, don't we?
We do. We do. I get trolled a little when I leave, but now I'm a Fox contributor, so maybe I get more people saying, hey, good, balanced job.
Yeah, listen, that's what we do here, fair and balanced, and you're part of it. Robert, it's great to see you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on, Liz.